Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and this past weekend I participated in the online Top Cut Regional, where your boy took the most underrated deck in OPO4. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kid himself. I'm talking about useless Captain Kidd. I'm talking about Film Kid, baby. So today we're going to be talking about my matchups, my deck list, as well as my run, and exactly why I think Kidd is the most underrated deck in OPO4 right now. So yeah, let's dive in. So getting into this deck list right now, first thing we gotta talk about the leader, and that's Captain Kidd. 5k attacker, 5 life, being able to swing twice, being able to restand him by only tapping 3 Dawn and trashing 1 card. It could be any card. To restand him is absolutely absurd. I don't know why more people aren't playing this leader. It's really, really good. Now that that's out of the way, let's go into the deck list. Now, this is a typical film deck list, so not too many surprises here. I'm going to kind of run through them a little bit and also tell you why, when I want to see some cards and why I think they're so good. So the first card here is we have 4 copies of Bonnie. Bonnie is your perfect turn 1 play, being able to tap 1, let's say you're going first, tap 1 to play her, your second turn you have 3 Dawn, you tap her, gain a card, swing 7k at lead, your opponent has to attack Bonnie. There's no way they don't attack her, and if they don't see a 1 or 2 cost character card, then she just grants you a whole nother life because she's a blocker, and it's just like amazing. Very, very good card, super good, and mid to late game she's a 1k in hand, which is really good. Next card here is we have Beige, Mr. Beige, 1 cost blocker, really good, just because it's able to keep not only your health alive, to keep yourself alive, right, but more importantly than yourself is your actual characters. This deck is extremely aggressive and it relies on you to keep your characters alive. Next is we have a 2k counter, Scratch Manapoo. It's a 2k counter, that's it. Second 4 of 2k counter, we got my boy Chopper here. Chopper's a 2k counter. That's it. Its effect could be useful and maybe possibly Nami to get rid of some Kayas, but you're not going to use it for that reason. I mean, I just didn't play any. You don't really need to because you have double swing with Kidd. Don't really need it. Next card is we have another 2k counter, which is actually Izo. Izo is not searchable, but her ability being able to rest a 4 cost or lower character is really good. Sometimes you need to get over, sometimes your opponent has like no cards in hand or 1 card in hand or 2 cards in hand, and they have no life but 2 blockers, and all you have is your Kidd. You can swing twice, but the issue is that they have 2 blockers, right? Well, Izo gets around that, being able to rest 1 blocker, then swinging twice, no matter the amount of Dawn that you have, you just need to swing twice, and Izo gets us there sometimes. Next card is we have a huge engine of the deck, which is actually Nami, and the funniest thing about this card is that half of the games for my run at the Top Cut Online Regional was that I actually didn't use her ability. Most of the time, she's just a 3/5 attacker. When I am able to use her ability, it's fantastic and great. Like I said, I probably use it like 50% of the time, but the majority of the time, she's just a 5k body, as well as Usopp. And in actuality, sometimes I'd rather have Usopp than Nami in my hand because Usopp is a 1k counter. Oftentimes, Nami's actually pitch bait for Leader Kidd. Funny enough. But really what makes these cards actually any good, to be honest with you, is Brook. Brook is a 4 cost 5k Straw Hat / film card that on play you get to play a 3 cost or lower film or Straw Hat card for free. This is very good because you're able to you're able to put out 2 bodies on the board that are both 5k for 4 Dawn. Very good here. Like I said, extremely good, and what's even crazier is that it has a 1k counter. Searchable through Nami, of course, since it is a film / Straw Hat. Next card that we have on the list here is we have 4 Zoros. 6 Zoros, 4 cost, 6k character, 1k counter. Yeah, it's solid. It's really good into Whitebeard because it's a 6k, flat 6k, so it's even and even. And yeah, it's really hard for your opponent to get rid of it because it's 6k. Going 7k at it is not enough with your leader, so it's very easy to keep it alive. Next card here is we have Frankie. Frankie is a 5/7 film Straw Hat card, 1k counter, which is very important. And this guy is a huge powerhouse. You put him out, he is never, ever, ever, ever dying unless it's by an event card. Or something absurd like, I don't know, like an ace or something that makes it a 4k. But for the most part, it's not dying. It's 7k. No, it's super good on your odd turn to play this card. It's very, very good. Next card here is we have Monkey D. Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy obviously is the sauce of this deck. Being able to, it's a 7 cost, 7k character. Film searchable through Nami. He's a blocker, and then on play you can actually play out a 4 cost or lower film card or Straw Hat, right? So the typical play is you play Luffy, you play Zoro. You play Luffy, you play Brook. Brook plays you Nami. Nami ability draws you a card, or just going straight into Usopp. It's usually okay. But usually, if they're both in my hand, I usually will play Nami because she has no counter. I want to keep all the counter in my hand all the time. Yeah, and the next card. So, just to let you guys know, which I was gonna save till the end, this deck. All of the entire deck is mainly the winning list that I'm going to share right now at the Latin American regionals. This is his list, right? The only thing that I changed in this list was that he had 2 ACOS Kid. And honestly, I just felt like in my testing, ACOS Kid was not worth it at all. It's literally, I saw the card and I was like, great, pitch counter, like a perfect card to pitch off lead. I just never thought it was useful. Instead, I tested this and I thought it was really, really good, and I'm so happy I ran this. I run 2 copies of X-Drake. This card right here, guys, this card is actually nuts. 1k counter, he's a 5/6 body, on play KO up to one of your opponent's characters rested, that's a 4 cost or lower. No one sees this coming. No one plays this card anymore, and it's so, so good. It's extremely good against Whitebeard. And which is the main reason why I pretty much beat all my Whitebeards, is because I saw this card. That's how big of a difference that made in the matchup. And I ran 2. Searchable through Bonnie, and it's 1k counter. Very, very good. Worst case scenario, you don't ever end up using it, and it's still 1k. For Kid has no counter. Kid has no counter, he's just stuck in your hand. And yeah, so within the event cards, pretty simple. 4 Pump Gibson, very, very good, and 2 Waterfall as well. So yeah, this is my deck list. I probably, if I were to change anything of this deck list, I would actually change out 1 beige for a Frankie, for another Frankie. That's what I would do. I would run 4 Frankies. There were some times when I would play out Nami, and funny enough, it would miss. It happened quite a lot. In my last match, in my last round, which I did end up losing, I whiffed on Nami 3 times in a row, which was absolutely devastating. And I want to max out on all my film cards, and that's the only card that's not a 4 of that's film, right? So that's what I would change. Going into my matchups, I don't really remember too much in the order. I entered the tournament going into it thinking to myself, I'm just playing for participation. I did really believe in the deck, and I have been practicing it for some time now. So, but it was a bit of a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people think this deck is clearly rogue. It's not meta. It's not tier 1, right? So going into it, I did have my doubts, but like I said, my matchups, I played 4 Whitebeard. Well, okay, so I went 7-2, right? 7 wins, 2 losses. And going into my last round, round 9, I actually played against a Queen player, and which is the matchup I lost, which was very devastating. Because I would have been 8-1, right? And it was a 9-round tournament. So, but I played 4 Whitebeards. I only lost to 1. One of them being a friend of mine at Locals at DXN. He was able to clutch it out. I do think this deck does really good against Whitebeard. especially with the inclusion of X-Drake. I think it really does make that much of a difference. And there was a moment when I realized when I swung, there was a turn where I could have swung like 10k twice into his lead. There was no way I would have lost that next turn, but I just felt like I didn't really want to dump all that Dawn into my lead and swing and not establish board, and instead I chose to establish board instead and just swing 6k into lead. But looking at it now, I took that advice, that thought, that mistake that I did during that game, and I took it to the rest of my Whitebeard matches, and I won the rest of them solely because of that. So unfortunately, I did lose against that Whitebeard, which was like round 3 when I lost. So I was like 2-1 after that. But the rest of the games I did really well against. I played against a Croc. I saw my Brooks. I won. I played against a Kata, I think like round like 7. And I think he was like, I think we started and he was like, dude, there's no way. Like, I'm so surprised you played this deck and you got this far with it. I didn't have any faith in the deck, and after I played him, and I was like, yeah, it's just the thing is that with that matchup, if you're able to go wide, you just apply so much pressure that your opponent can't do anything about it. And even though you don't have too many blockers, right? I mean, you have Luffy and you have Beige. Beige alone is so threatening. So yeah, I was able to. So I played 4 Whitebeards. I played against a Croc, a Kata. I played against an Ace, which was very scary. That matchup is very bad for me if I am not able to see my Brooks. That's 7. I played against and then I played against 2 Queens. I beat 1 Queen and I lost to another. So overall, very happy with this deck and how it went. I am going to say, once again, I think this deck is extremely underrated. The amount of pressure you're able to put on because your leader is Kid and able to swing twice a turn is so good. You just leave all your bodies out. You don't attack characters. You just go for life. Obviously, there are times when you have to attack some characters to relieve some pressure. But for the majority of the time, you just go for life. And you take all the life. And by the time they're at like their 10 Dawn or 8 Dawn, they should probably only have 2 to 1 life left. Which is ridiculous. Because all you need is to set your opponent to 1 life. And then you just start swinging double. You just go crazy. And 12k, 11k, 9k, those are really big hits that they have to try to either protect or counter out of. So yeah, that was my deck. I think this, like I said, I think this deck has like probably very few bad matchups. I would say a bad matchup is probably Law. Law's probably pretty bad. I was able to dodge all Laws that day, fortunately for me. I think Otama just really messes up this deck. If you're able to control the board here with Otama, it can get really scary. I would say the same with Zoro, but unfortunately Zoro can't reuse Otamas, right? So it's a one and done. But you have cards like Fire Fist and stuff like that, but you're just constantly putting out bodies, right? Whether they're big bodies or the 5Ks, and just Luffy itself. Punk Gibson and Paradise being able to rest choppers or restand attackers. It's just underrated, honestly. Very underrated. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you actually check out this actual deck and try it out for yourself. I think I had a lot of fun playing it, and everyone should play it because Kid's awesome. And yeah. So thank you guys so much for checking out the channel as well as this video. I really do appreciate it. And stay tuned because I have a ton of new OPO4 content coming out soon. See ya!